Hey, welcome to my YouTube channel, How To. My name is Zaya. I'm a Microsoft full-time employee. My HR requires me to say that. And today I'll be talking about how to pass a PMP in 3 weeks. There are a lot of things where unclear. I've been in your shoes. I have searched millions of videos, if so, and I read a lot of articles, vlogs about how people have taken and what were their experiences. So today it's based on my experiences, and so hopefully it'll be helpful for you. So first thing first, Program Management Institution, a website, creates a PMP exam. So you will be signing in the PMI in order to take the exam. You can become a member with the PMI, but you don't have to be a member to take the PMP exam. For exam, I'm sure you heard of it. It's changing for 2023, and I thought it's going to be really different, but it wasn't how I imagined. So hopefully it won't be a big news for you. And so exam has 230 minutes length, and it has 180 questions. So how it works is it will separate it to 60, 60, 60. So each time you will take a 10 minutes break, and during the 10 minutes break, it won't take away from your exam time. But I want you to be mindful about your time, because while you're taking it in the part 1, 2, 3, time is still running. So I highly recommend to spend less time on the first part and try to leave time for the rest of the parts. To me personally, for the first part, I really thought I failed it, and that's how bad I felt it. Thankfully, I had a 10 minutes break. I did a meditation and exercise. And then I was really glad I actually went in person to take the exam. I highly recommend that. If you're doing online, I mean, you can, but my 2 colleagues actually who took online, one got kicked out from moving too much, or the second one, he has a disability that he can't stand. He has a high ADHD, and then it caused him, like, they thought about his cheating. So then they both got kicked out and have to reschedule all the blah, blah, blah stuff. So be mindful of that. And for exam, you do have multiple questions, and you have drag and drop sections. And they were really tricky, to be honest. I really struggled. So I hope you will study on that part and get yourself familiar with it. So part 2, we'll talk about experience. A lot of people have a misunderstanding that PMP is only for people who were in management level, or fully had a control over the big projects like IT or constructions. It's not actually true. If you graduate high school and have your high school diploma, all you need is 60 months leading project experience. And if you have bachelor, you need 36 months experience. So on the other hand, if you have a program management education training or CAPM certification, you need 24 months experience. And all these experiences, you need to have written your manager's or your supervisor's signature that says you got involved with this project and you have the evidences. And I'll tell you later why it's so important. So part 3, study guide. I only used 2-person study guides. When I say study guides, they're not like books. Personally, I have a dyslexia, and it gets really difficult for me to follow up with textbooks. So I used PMP Guru, Andrew Ramdale's 35 hours training. I got a deal, and I only paid like $40-something. But the link I will provide in the description and the comments might have a higher one. So sometimes if you sign in, and then when they have a deal, they will let you know. So that way you can save some money. And from Andrew, I used his exam simulation. and that costs $44.99. And that, I want to warn you, it only has 60 days duration for you. So if you say purchased it and you forgot about it 60 days, you want to get access to it, you won't have any information on your file. So you have to repay again. And then second person I actually followed and watched on YouTube is David McLaughlin. He has like 200 questions for agile method, and they were super helpful. Even it became helpful at my work too. So I followed all this information and study guideline. So in order to pass my exam in 3 weeks, I have to schedule everything in a tight schedule. So first thing, for 35 hours is mandatory. You do have to take it. So since it's a 35, I only spend 5 hours a day for 7 days. And then for exam simulation, it has 6 parts. So I use the 6 days to take one and retake them. If I have any questions I missed it, I can study and review myself. So that usually took me about 2 weeks, and then the rest of the week I applied for my application and reviewed the things I wasn't familiar with. And then it will take us to part 4, which is the application and audit parts. In this, I will link the handbook. Handbook became super helpful, and a lot of videos did not talk about the handbook, and it was like on my own I found the handbook, so I hope it will be helpful for you. It had more details to how the application works and how the audit works. You do need to finish your 35 hours training first and have your certification, and then you apply and said, I finished this training. Otherwise, if you go through the audit and then they find out you actually were in midst of your 35 training and then applied it, say if you finished it, and they would not take that as finished. And they said you did not have authorized training, so-and-so. So I highly recommend you to finish your 35. It's mandatory training, got your certification, and then apply. With that being said, for the applying section, they will give you a lot of information. What I did was I actually copy and pasted on a Word and structured it in a way everything they asked. So I highlighted them, and then next to it and said, okay, this is what I did. This is the experiences, all of that, and then copy and paste it. That was much easier. And plus, on the Word, you can see how your tones are, or if you had misspellings. So they were really helpful when I applied. The second part is about audit. Audit happens, what I heard was that 2% of people who are applying it and randomly they picked up. So you got to be prepared for your audit. You got to have your diploma copies or the training certifications. And what I mentioned previously in the part 2 with the experiences, make sure your manager and supervisor, signed it. It has a signature that's saying you were part of the team and you have that experience. So it's really important. So part 5, how to apply for exam. So if you notice, you have to apply application first and then get approved, and then you apply for exam. Exam, 2 things people did not talk about it. So first thing, you have language options. And I was really surprised they're actually adding more and more languages. So if those languages are your native and you would like to take it in that language, you're welcome to take that. Part 6 about cost and cancellation. If you are a member with PMI, your exam will cost $405. Non-members are $575. And to me, becoming a member of PMI, I actually had access to different trainings and learned more about it. So if you want to be a member, it's not a bad idea. For cancellation, it actually confused me, and I have to go through the handbook carefully to see what it meant. And that actually gives you examples. So hopefully the exam I will give you guys, it's more clear. So let's say you schedule taking exam on January 30th. And then you schedule that way 30 days before that, let's say last year in November. So in December, if you want to cancel it in beginning of the December, you're still 30 days out. So with no penalty, you can reschedule it. But let's say in January 1st, you say, new me, new year, I want to, reschedule it before January 30th. And then they will charge you $70. Or even you say, oh, maybe I needed some time, and then you want to reschedule it. After January 30th, you still pay $70 because it's still in 30 days. So that works same to 48 hours. If it's before 48 hours, then you pay $70. And if it's in the 48 hours, you do not get refund for your exam. So let's say if you remember $405, you paid it, it won't get refunded, and you have to pay again $405 to retake the exam. But in here, I want to remind you guys, you do have certain accommodation to cancellation. So let's say if you are really sick, or you have somebody lost in your immediate family, there's natural disasters happen, you can reschedule with no penalty. So remember, please check out your handbook and check them out. So last part, 7 is maintenance and requirements. So you pass the exam and you have your PMP certification. What happens next? You gotta keep it maintained by 60 PDUs in 3 years cycle. So it could be you're taking a training, or you can train people, so on. And the handbooks actually explains it more clear, so you can check that out. So basically, that's all I did to pass my PMP in 3 weeks. And I hope this video is helpful for you. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. And if you want to get contact with us, Zaya Naidandorj Tech, all social media is open to you, and I have my LinkedIn as well. So contact with me, ask me more questions, and I hope you will pass your PMP, and this video has been helpful for you. And remember, I'll include all the links below, and good luck with your exam.